And it's a standard protocol for you, when we're going back to the handgun that you performed an analysis on an examination, is a standard protocol to swab the entire gun and then do a test, or just swab one individual part?
It's typical to find most of the DNA on those areas. So those are the areas that we swab to get most of the DNA on as small a surface as possible so that I can recover most of the DNA from that surface.
And you said that it's difficult to get DNA. Is there a reason for that?
Pardon me?
Is there a reason you said it's difficult to get DNA from an item like that? Is there a reason for that?
Well, unlike staining blood, saliva, or semen, touch DNA is very finicky. Some of us deposit a lot of the DNA on a surface, some of us don't. So when I am testing for touch DNA, I try to get as much of the DNA as possible off of a surface.
Okay, regarding the gun again, you said that there was a possible contributor, 2 or more contributors. Do you know when that DNA might have been transferred to that handgun?
No, sir.
And you know how?
I don't.
And are there a number of different ways that that could have happened?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brindle. Anything further, Mr. Clark?
Very, very good.
Go ahead.
And ma'am, on direct examination by the state, you conceded that DNA can be transferred through a straw, right?
Yes.
And in this case, are you aware that have you been given any information that there's Mr. Chan is the defendant charged with shooting Mr. Martin, right?
Right.
Are you, or have you been made aware of anybody else or any other individual involved in this case?
No, I have not.
And so what you have before you when you were doing this testing is the information that you have the victim and you have the defendant, nobody else, right?
That's right.
Okay. And so when counsel asks you when DNA gets deposited, you can't give an answer because DNA, the placement of DNA can't be timed, right?
Right. I cannot tell when DNA got deposited or how. I just know it was there.
That's right. And it was there, and it was there in a place where you suspected it would be deposited when someone holds a gun and fires that gun, right? On the grip, the slide, the trigger guard, and the trigger. That's what you tested.
Those are the surfaces that are not smooth, so they would hold the touch or the skin cells better. And if I want to see who touched the gun, those would be the areas that I would swab.
Thus yielding the results that you were able to find, correct?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Thus yielding the results that we've reported today to the jury.
That's right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Does the jury have any questions of this witness? Let me ask the attorney to approach this. Ms. Sandhu, the jury has some questions of you.
Yes, sir.
Was the gun examined under an ultraviolet light source?
No, it was not.
And again, the responses to these questions are based on your personal knowledge. There has been testimony to Exhibit 279 and another exhibit that depicted, there were 2 pictures of some pants that you testified to related to DNA analysis that you did.
Yes, sir.
Are you able to inform the jury whether you know who those pants belong to?
Yes, I did.
Can you inform the jury of who they belong to?
As per the DNA code, blue jeans belonging to Tai Chan, item 32.
this is, if you're able to provide this explanation, would the blowback blood have burned off if the gun was shot after any blowback blood was deposited?
Absolutely. The heat and the soot would degrade the DNA, and I believe the gun was submitted also for latent prints before it came for DNA testing, and during the latent prints testing, the blood could have washed away.
Again, there was another question, but the court has determined that would be inappropriate under the rules of evidence. It would require this witness to speculate beyond what would be permitted for this. All right, so if there's no other questions, may this witness be excused, Mr. Prindle?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Clark?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. Sandhu Kermer, you're now excused. Thank you very much for the service that you provided to the court today, and please have a very safe trip.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're going to take a short recess I want to make sure that the jury is comfortable in continuing with additional testimony. So let's go ahead and take a break now, and we'll come back with the next witness. Thank you.
Congratulations, Jerry.